Friends, one of the things that I've commonly thought about when I make investment decisions is, am I making a rational decision or am I making an emotional decision? And believe you me, I read about a study many years ago that said almost 80% of all decisions that are made are emotionally tinged. Hardly 20% of it is rational in nature. So it's very important to understand emotional aspects or emotionality in decision making. And that's what today the next speaker is going to talk to us about. None other than Jatinder Pal Singh, who is the Chief Marketing Officer at Mahindra Mutual Fund. A chartered accountant and cost accountant by study. He also has additional experience of degrees from Raw School of Management, Michigan, and INSEAD program on management, which he's currently doing. One of the founding members of Mahindra Mutual Fund's operations in India and continues to stay with the organization. So he's been right there from day one of Mahindra's journey in mutual funds to today. Prior to his Mahindra work, he has been part of HSBC and Morgan Stanley. Man with a wide amount of experience, knowledge, is going to dissect how we can understand the emotionality in decision making so that we make better decisions going forward. Mr. Jatinder Pal Singh, for you.
Greetings, friends. My name is JP Singh. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Mahindra Manulife Mutual Fund. The topic of discussion today is emotionality in investing. And my objective will be to bring and put it in front of you many biases, many investor behaviors which tend to impact normal thinkings. So just to introduce and talk a little bit about the topic, investor behavior often deviates from a logic or from a reason whenever there are some challenges around in the markets. And these are sometimes referred to as biases, and these are nothing but challenges faced in faced in thinking when some challenging environment around us is happening. A cognitive bias can be viewed as a thumb rule which can lead to systemic deviation from a standard of rationality or good judgment. Just to put little light on the topic, as an individual, we have seen that by the time any individual, they tend to reach an age of about 25, 30, their thinking is almost fixed. And the society around us, our friends, our families tend to put us in some molds. Somebody may be referred to as extrovert, somebody is referred to as introvert, somebody may be referred to as, angry young man, somebody may be referred to as a docile person, somebody may be referred to as aggressive person. This is nothing which our thinking which tends to get, fixed or evolve as we grow due to the various impacts of our teachings around us by our teachers, by the society we live, how we are brought up, the teachings of our parents, and so on. Similarly, to put it simply, even in investments, the two terms used are he or she is a conservative investor or he or she is an aggressive investor. And this is what sometimes even investor thinks about themselves. But what our endeavor for the next 20-30 minutes will be to mull on a topic, on this topic, and to think about, is there something called aggressive or conservative investor, and if we can bring it to an aware investor. So if I can bring it on in terms of market movements, whenever market tends to go up, investor tends to have higher confidence. So these are some of the nature and characters that we see around the market levels. If the markets are very high, we tend to see they're euphoric, and if there's some kind of corrections, we will see that sometimes they are nervous, and if there's a large correction, they tend to be defeated. And the way of thinking, some of the biases tend to impact our thinking also. Whenever an investor is making a plan is an investment goal. Whenever they are sitting with their advisors to make a plan, the plan tend to be very simple. In simple terms, what we tend to say 0, 1. 0 is where you are starting and 1 is where you need to go. And an investor may have many plans, many goals in life. For example, buy a house, children education, vacation, retirement planning, and so on. The thinking is so simple that I start from here and I have to reach to a certain number, a certain corpus, in so much time. But in reality, many challenges come up, because ultimately we have seen that it can be political challenges. For example, now we are seeing some of the challenges coming, Russian-Ukraine issue, which was unanticipated few days back. We may see some social challenges. As I talk to you, elections are going on in few states. So there are some questions around, can there be volatility due to election results? We are just coming out of COVID, and we have seen some challenges out of the economic side. So will capital markets impacted? Will there be recovery? So this is the reality. Reality, again, to summarize, is that yes, we need to go to a goal. When we make a plan, the plans are very simply laid. But when we are challenged due to many reasons, how do we behave? Because what we think is information, knowledge is available to everyone. But how you react to those challenges, how a mind behaves, and take action when these challenges come up, is ultimately will help us reach our goals. So, in many words, sometimes these are also used as greed and fear, how we behave at different levels of market. Now, to pick up a cue from a 1999 movie, The Matrix, I'm using the analogy of the red pill and the blue pill. The red pill is referred to as the harsh truth. A truth, if known, accepted, and how you react after knowing this may help you to make better decisions. Or the blue pill, which is also referred as belief, where you may tend to ignore the truth and make many hasty decisions, many impromptu decisions when you are faced with a challenge. So if put in simple vernacular Hindi, kadwa sach, meetha sach. So the bitter pill is what will help you, knowing if you are aware about it, if you know about it, and you accept the red pill, is what will help you to overcome some of the biases, some of the investing behavioral challenges. Now, this is also referred to as cognitive biases. So, cognitive is nothing but a systematic pattern of deviation from norm or rationality in judgment. So, cognition is referred to as judgment, basic thinking, and cognitive biases are systemic errors in thinking when you are challenged due to various conditions. Can you believe in reality when research work is done? It is said that close to 200 biases. In Hindi, they are referred to as pakshpat are there. And when you are in the capital markets, when you're investing, whenever some challenges happen, whenever corrections are there, whenever markets go up, broadly you will be faced with too much information, which will try and challenge you. So many things are happening around us. COVID, Ukraine, Russia, Taiwan, China. India is doing so many reforms. So PLI, some good, some challenging ones. What is US going to take a decision on Russia or China? Will the third wave, how soon it will be over? Will we be faced by the fourth wave? Too much information is there. But does everything have so much of meaning? Do we need to react to everything around us? And today in the capital markets, it is not only too much information or too much meaning, it is also need to act fast. And then in the need to act fast, what mistakes we can make as investor, as advisors, that is what my whole purpose is, my endeavor will be to update you on. So right now on the charts, what I'm showing you is, many biases can't be covered together in the short term, but recency bias, confidence bias, overconfidence bias, complacency, disillusionment, all are part of our thoughts, part of some of our nature, some fear, some greed. And at times same biases may overlap together, they may come together. To be aware helps us make better decisions, because in the market, in the last 40 odd years, BSE has moved from 100 to 60,000, which is 600 times growth, giving almost 17% compounded returns. That is the solemn truth. That there are corrections, we need to be aware, and to hold on to our biases which may impact our wealth growth, which may impact reaching our goals, is what we need to be more aware. Some of these are short term. We always know volatility is there, corrections will happen. If I give you a small data of last 20 years of this century, out of the last 20 years, 17 years, the Sensex, the benchmarks have been positive return givers, 3 times negative. But people tend to think, sometimes get anchored or with a bias that they think the reverse, that markets have been 17 times negative and 33 times positive. The truth is, wealth is made over a period of time, compounded. Now, some of the recent times, last 2-3 years, I have heard new jargons which are biases only in some way. They refer to FOMO or fear missing out, which means if I don't invest, I may miss out on the rally. This is a kind of a jargon which is recency bias. There is a bias called, there is a word called TENA, which is there is no alternative, which means if I don't invest in equities, where will I go? If I don't invest, I will only invest in gold because there is no alternative. Should I only invest in the new age word called cryptocurrency? Is there because there may be no alternative, I may not see any tomorrow. This is all, and there is a word which has got called very recently called YOLO, which is you only live once, which means do whatever you do today, as if investing and making money is only for today. Right? Warren Buffett did not build his wealth of billions of dollars, which is close, I think last I remember, $70-80 billion just overnight. It took him decades. He knew the power of compounding. He got time tested. He was challenged. It is not that his portfolio did not come down. So why are we the favored ones? We will not be challenged. Do we have to make everything today? I'm sorry. That is not wealth creation. That is not investing. It may be, yes, that may be gambling. That may be speculation actually. And that is what we may need to be aware about. Now to conclude, information, knowledge, data is available, so much available. When I am talking about cognitive biases, I am talking about too much information also available. What we need to focus on is important. So today I tried to focus on the part that there are biases. Investors tend to be impacted by various challenges in the market like social, economic, capital markets, political, various things. But the difference of people who made wealth and people who are not made wealth lies in their investment behavior. Investor displays many biases when they're investing, right? They are referred to as biases, they may refer to investment behaviors. We cannot, I agree that we cannot avoid everything. But what is important is being conscious, having an understanding, resisting the tendency to engage in some impromptu decisions, to engage in some of these behaviors, and developing objective-based, goal-based strategies can help us overcome them. When we are making portfolios, there are times when we think we get greedy. We can even think the reverse. Should I be reallocating towards debt instead of equity? Or when we are fearful, should I be investing into equity instead of debt? So asset allocation based investing, a risk tolerance based investing, rebalancing of portfolios, all of that can overcome our biases. Ultimately, long term, many investors, the investors who have made money, we tend to call them experienced investors, seasoned investors, they have learned that success comes from controlling or reining in our emotions and overcoming our emotions in investing, overcoming our cognitive biases, which will help us make less mistakes. It is not about making mistakes. Some mistakes will be made, but it will help us make less mistakes, which will take care of our wealth creation, which will help us create wealth over mid to long term. So thank you so much, and I hope that this will help us achieving our goals and controlling our biases.